Hello fellow human, welcome back to another Dank Doggo / Entitled Parents videos. Have you ever encountered a real entitled parent in real life before? Or even worse, have you ever dated someone that has an entitled mother? The first story by societal member, "You will date my daughter or I'll get you fired." So for some context, I'm a 17 years old male and I work at a Segway tour company. It's actually really fun. I get to ride segways around the city and talk to people and get paid to do it. Plus, the tipping isn't bad. So anyways, there was a tour booked a couple of days ago and I came in about 20 minutes early to answer emails and get everything ready. The group shows up, mother and daughter, and that's when things get interesting. I'm not going to insult your intelligence by telling you what EP and me stands for, but D equals daughter and FBI equals to Federal Bureau of Investigation, just for some useful info. EP and D comes in, and I check them in. Me, alright, I have some waivers for you to sign. D, how old are you? D, 16? Me, okay, then you don't need to sign a waiver. I ask this because if kids are younger than 18, their parents sign the waivers for them. But EP only heard me say the first part, not when I said D didn't need to sign a waiver, so she thought I was just asking her daughter how old she was. This was probably what started it all. We go on tour, and while I'm giving my spiel, EP keeps interrupting me to tell me stuff about D and finds if we're compatible. Me, and so this is the non-profit organization opened in... EP, are you in college? Me, haha, no, I'm a junior in high school. I'm usually pretty free with info about myself on tours because it helps keep people relaxed and initiates conversations during lulls in the tour. Plus, it helps with the tipping. Winky face. EP, oh, D is also a junior. She's an artist. Stuff like this keeps happening throughout the tour and every time D gets redder and redder. My mom does this too, where she just tells random mall attendants about me. So I know what D is going through and I feel her pain. At the end of the tour, I tell two of them that they have 15 minutes to go around the town, and then they can meet me back at the Segway place. I get back and start getting things set up for their return. They roll in, pardon the sun, and I take their Segways to start charging them. EP, so what do you think of my daughter? Me, pardon me, what? EP, I saw you checking her out during the tour. Are you gonna ask her out? D, mom, stop. Me, ma'am, I just recently got out of a relationship and I'm not really looking for anything right now. EP, what? Me, huh? EP, is my daughter not good enough for you? Me, no, that's not it. I just said that I just got out of a relation. EP, you're going to date my daughter and that is final. Me, you can't tell me what to do. I'm not your kid. And if I don't want to date your daughter, I don't have to. Besides, you haven't even asked her if she wants to date me. D, yeah, I don't want to date him. Me, see? EP, I'm going to call your boss and I tell him about your terrible customer service. You're never going to work in the city name again. Me, pulling out my phone. Alright, you want to call him and explain the situation? How are you trying to force me to date your daughter and you get me fired for saying no? Then I guess the absurdity of the situation finally sunk in. In her face, transitioned from pure rage to slight confusion. EP, wait, maybe I don't want to? Me, no, let's call him. Start going through my contacts and press my boss name. Let's have this conversation. EP, I don't think that's a good idea. Phone start ringing. EP, D, let's go. EP runs out the door and D turns to me and says, I'm sorry. It then follows her mom. I hang up the phone before my boss answers and start cleaning the Segways. Actually, if you think about it, there could be a plot twist where OP and EP's daughter bond over the disgust of EP's behavior and start dating. We have here the second story written by /This requires a burner. I just saw a lady get tasered for trying to snatch a woman's face mask to give to her child. I argued with my husband about whether or not to post this because I'm pretty sure this will make the local news. And I didn't want to burn this account just yet. But he won the RPS, so here we are. Prepare yourself, this story has layers. We were at the dreaded big box store, picking up the potting soil because we're going to DIY ourselves through the COVID-19 isolation. Things aren't crazy here, yet, but there's 2 per customer's limit on a majority of items. I assume this means everything, so we're getting 2 bags each of a few different types of soil. My husband is loading the last of 8 bags on our cart when I heard her. I know it's a Karen just by the level of unnecessary outrage in her voice. Karen, are you kidding me? Not a lot of people out here in the garden center, but we all looked at her. I was almost disappointed to see she didn't come up with the requisite haircut. She actually looked like a frazzled mom. You know, her kid tugging on her hand and over a full hand basket of groceries. And I had a moment of, girl, I feel you. But darn it, she was pointing at us. Karen, you can't buy that many. You are hoarding. My husband, yeah we can, we're getting 2 each. Karen, oh you don't fool me. I know what you're doing. My husband, so do I. Screw off. I'm just sitting there imagining all the ways I'm gonna rock his world tonight, Lenny face. Well, Karen huffed at that, spun around, and yanked her kid back inside to go to complain to an employee working the register nearby. Now, we already paid for our items. The employees had come out and scanned the bags earlier, and he could easily see our cart from the inside. So, being finished, we pushed the cart out of the garden center into the parking lot. And then, the automatic doors opened behind us, and I hear, now they're stealing! Just great! We load the soil into the car and turn around to bring the cart back and looks at the plants. By the time we get back, Karen has given up on trying to convince the employee we're Bonnie and Clyde of dirt, and is now trying to negotiate skipping somebody's in line. She has a child, you see, and her hand basket, well, just so full and heavy. Could she just please just scooch right on here real quick, and it'll be just an extra second, she swears. The woman Karen is trying to skip is young, maybe in college age, and wearing a face mask. Not a medical mask, but a sketchy kind you'd wear while riding a motorcycle or when you're skiing. My husband had just informed me it's a neck gaiter. The mask is black and has a scary wolf teeth on it that honestly made the girl look like somebody you should not duck with, even though she was wearing a GAP t-shirt and the flip-flops. Mask girl is just shaking her head no, and that's all I got as we drop off the cart. I browse, pick up a couple plants, and we head inside to wait in line. Now it's showtime. Karen and Masker are near the register facing off, no pun intended. From the looks of things, Masker finished her purchase and Karen stopped her before she could leave. I don't know if she grabbed her or anything, but Karen was still holding her full hand basket, so she hadn't checked out yet. Well, she hadn't paid for groceries yet because clearly this woman had checked out. Karen, but you don't even need it now, you're leaving. My son could get sick because you won't give it to him and he needs it. Mask girl, hell no, you can't have it, back off lady. Karen, but my son really likes it and it's obviously made for boys anyway. Why would you even want to wear something so scary? Mask girl, because I like it and it has my germs on it. Why would you put a stranger's mask on your kid? Karen, ugh, why are you being so rude? Why wouldn't you let us go through the checkout first and now you're making my son very upset? Mask girl, your problem, not mine. And then Mask Girl turns to leave while Karen manifests the biggest balls ever and grabs Mask Girl by the back of her mask. Let me make a side note here. When all of this is going down, we're just standing in line and watching. The register is still going boop, boop, boop as the employee scans the items. But otherwise, we're all just inside this hypnotic bubble. But when Karen reached out towards the Mask Girl, it was like the bubble popped and made everything crystal clear. Not in a slow-mo or anything, but I absolutely felt hyper-aware, like Spider-Man. Karen reaches out and people on both sides of me inhaled loudly. Karen grabs the mask and yanks it. A lady on my right yells and my husband stepped forward. So getting late tonight, Lenny face. Mask Girl tucks her head down and she turns to Karen like a pissed-off bull with a bright and shiny new target. I think Karen was going to say something like, "Don't walk away from me," or something, but all she got was, "Don't!" Crack. I looked around because the noise was so loud, I figured the roof was about to cave in. But out of the corner of my eye, I see Karen spasm and drop to the floor writhing. Little Miss Mask Girl had the ducking taser. I don't know when she pulled it out, but this tiny little flashlight looking thing, but she laid Karen out with it. And not one of us moved for what felt like forever, like we were frozen. And then it was ducking bedlam. Security guard shows up, more employees shows up, and Mask Girl is chilling like she's been through this before and knows what comes next. The kid is screaming that the wolf girl killed his mom. Even though she's groaning and sobbing on the floor, and clearly not dead, but maybe wishing she was. The people that had been in line with us were all talking at once, trying to tell security guard what happened. We hung around just witnessing the insanity for maybe 2 minutes before Karen started choking out demands for an ambulance, the police, lawyer, the mayor, restitutions, and reparations. My husband made eye contact with an employee and got a thumbs up when he puts the plants on a shelf and point towards the door. We got the dog out of there! We drove home in silence until my husband parked the car in our driveway, and then we just burst out laughing. Neither of us have ever seen anything like that before. We live in a small beach town, people are super laid back and mellow. Karen was anything but, and I hope to never see her again. Talking about the audacity to steal someone else's face mask. And what if the mask girl got COVID? Next up, we have the third story. M labels me as the office tramp for wearing swimsuit at a surf school. I'm a surf instructor at a surf school on the beach. It was the end of the day and I had just finished my class. I'd done 5 hours long classes in a row and I was covered in water and wet sand. So I just wanted to get the things off me and maybe go for a swim before I left the beach. I was in the surf shack. We were based in with 3 coworkers who I'll call Sam, Joe, and Meg. Names change, but Sam in real life has an equally gender-neutral name. I texted my boyfriend who confirmed he was 5 minutes away. I had already finished my part of closing up process, so while Sam put up the close signs on the door and locked up the filling cabinet, and Joe and Meg sorted out the wetsuits and put the boards back in their holders. I left the boys to finish up and went to the changing area to strip off my wetsuit. I'd gotten down to my tankini when I heard a loud, nasally, American accent voice. Excuse me? Hello? Service please? Seeing the boys were occupied, I pulled out my skirts and went to the door. M did not look like a stereotypical Karen, long hair, tan, wearing a bikini, with a big floppy beach hat and a sarong around her waist. Her daughter was with her, looked around 10 to 12 years old, and like her mom's mini-me, but she didn't speak once during this encounter, so I don't know if she's entitled or not. Me, hi, how can I help you? M, you could start by putting some clothes on. My tankini is covering about the same amount of skin as a one-piece would, aside from the strip of exposed skin by my waist. And I'll admit that the neckline is kinda low, but M is literally wearing a bikini with way more exposed skin than me. Me, customer service mode activated. I'm very sorry, miss. Sam, can you grab me my shirt, please? He throws my tank top at me and I pull it on. Better? M, not really. Is there anyone else who can take care of us? Me, well, I'm sorry, my coworker is a little busy right now and we're closing up. M, fine. I want to sign my daughter up for classes tomorrow. I start to talk her through the availability slots, when I can fit her kids in, prices, and requirements. While I do this, I'm gesturing with my hands and leaning over to the counter to point out some stuff on the sign-up sheet. M, interrupting me. I'm sorry, don't you have a sweatshirt or something? It's in the middle of the summer in a heat wave on a beach. Me, clinging to my customer service smile because I'm technically on the clock. I'm sorry, no, I don't. Would you like me to carry on? M, is there no one else I could speak to? You're making my daughter feel self-conscious. Me, giving up on being polite. You're making me feel self-conscious. It's summer, it's a beach, it's a heat wave. I do not have another shirt. Everything that needs to be covered is covered. And with all due respect, you're wearing less than I am. Sam, wearing a t-shirt and denim shorts, hears all this and recognizes my tone as my I'm about to snap tone. So he looks at me and I nod at him and he jumps in. Sam, I'm happy to help you, miss. My name is Sam. OP, why don't you go? M, Sam is a guy? Sam, well, last time I checked. M, I thought you were a girl. Sam, sorry to disappoint. M to me, do you think it's appropriate to wander around like that when there's a young man nearby? To Sam, you should report her to the HR. Sam, it's a beach. People walk around in lasts all the time. M, repeating, it's inappropriate. Sam, well, you're wearing a bikini. M, I'm not working, she is. Me, you do know this is a surf school, right? Mick and Joe heard the noise. M hasn't raised her voice or yelled or anything, but they can hear the tone of the conversation and decide they should step in just in case. Mick and Joe are both wearing board shorts and flip-flops and no shirts. Mick, coming up behind me, is there a problem here? Joe, at Mick's side, anything we can help with? M's eyes go wide. She looks between me and the 3 boys in the shock and horror. M, recovering herself. I was just saying that. Me, she was just telling me to put some clothes on. Mick, oh, you know this is the beach, right? If anything, she's overdressed. M can see that she's not going to persuade me to magically summon more clothing to wear, and you can tell from her eyes that she knows the boys won't agree with her. Then a thought hits her like a brick to her hollow head. M, just what were you four doing back there? Joe closing up. M, I'm not stupid. I beg to differ. M, you're telling me she's answered the door practically naked, you're all wearing barely anything, but nothing is going on here? Mick jokingly, well, OP will have told you not to answer the door naked. And I laugh. M, don't you laugh at me, you little slut. I know what's going on here, you perverts. Sam, who is gay, is in all out, doubled over peals of laughter. M's daughter looks really embarrassed and is bright red with her face in her hands. Sam, you think that? Trails up mid-sentence in favor of more laughing. M, oh sure, everyone protects the office slut. Joe literally falls to the floor clutching his stomach laughing. Mick, yeah, if you don't mind, we're in the mid-4-ways, so get in or get out. It's just then that my boyfriend shows up. Boyfriend sees me, Joe, Sam, and Mig pissing ourselves laughing, and I'm just looking homicidal and the daughter bright red with her face in her hands. Everything okay here? Boyfriend comes over and gives me a hug, and I get frankly genius idea to pull him in for a kiss in full view of M. M screeches some demonic noise that only dogs can hear and stomps off. Her poor daughter in towel, and that's the last time we ever heard from her. Well, technically, by M's logic, then M is the slut here if she wears a more revealing swimsuit. On to the final story by Frin NSK 2001. M brings her 4 kids to an adult-only wedding. I attended an adult-only wedding for a coworker a few days ago. The actual ceremony was in a very small church, so it was mostly family and close friend. The reception was a very elegant hotel ballroom, not child-friendly in any way. Crystal stemware, expensive linens on the table, etc. About 1.5 hours into the reception, a commotion started that made everyone stare. M is arguing with the wedding planner loudly. Me, being the nosy broad that I am, inch closer to hear. Turns out, M brought her 4 young children into the reception, even though the invitation clearly stated adults only. The entitled mother insisted that her kids, I'm guessing at ages, but the oldest looked at like 8-ish, and the youngest was under a year old, were super well behaved, so it was fine. Now, keep in mind that this was around 7:30 p.m. The wedding planner was having none of it. She insisted that the children were not allowed and she had to leave. In a last-ditch effort to get admitted, M shouted at the bride. The bride went over and listened to her for a moment, and then she said in a syrupy, sweet voice, "Of course you can come in, M, but your children cannot." She turned on her heel and went back to her new husband. Entitled mother flipped a nut, yelled about how she was invited and couldn't find a babysitter, etc. 3 of the groomsmen escorted her and her kids to the door. Well, it's interesting that the bride gives absolutely zero crap about M while they're screaming around. I love it! That's it for today, fellow humans. Thanks for watching. Be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys next time.